Lord Megatron, it's good to be back.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe class Arachnid. Based on the Transformers 1 animated movie, this take on the character depicts her as the loyal surveillance officer to Sentinel Prime. And I've got to say that of all the figures to be released so far, she was easily one of the most ambitious. I believe that I mentioned in a previous review that one of the biggest differences to some of these Transformers 1 characters was how Hasbro committed from the very beginning to making them all mostly more affordable. It really does seem that when it comes to this movie, the design team were trying their best to give us a slightly smaller selection of characters, and at the same time, the most from their price points. With the Transformers 1 Starscream being a prime example. In comparison to the engineering scene from the most recent aerial bots, his transformation is honestly comparable to a Voyager, with Arachnid being no exception. So, as we whack up an image of how she appeared in the movie, despite arguably being one of the more challenging designs, she is looking to be incredibly close. Recently, it really seems like the design team are finally able to give justice to some of these female Transformers. Beforehand, we were left with figures such as the '86 movie RC, which unfortunately had a huge backpack. Whereas with Arachnid, proportionally, I think they nailed it. She's incredibly spindly, and for a figure that can transform, surprisingly also really clean. And as we spin around to the back, unlike the Transformers Prime version, she even includes the spider legs, with, to be fair, next to no backpack. Easily, one of my biggest issues with the previous Deluxe Arachnid would be how the propeller blades were completely useless in robot mode, whereas with this version, not only is she able to form the rotor blade that we do see her use in the movie, she also has the ability to use them as actual legs. It's also got to be mentioned that despite some areas of the figure looking to be stick thin, the plastic throughout is dense, meaning that the lower legs, for example, don't feel like they're going to be breaking anytime soon. Honestly, as someone who grew up watching Transformers Prime, this version of Arachnid is an absolute dream come true. It gives me hope that maybe one day we can see some of those older designs revisited and hopefully of a similar quality to this figure. Blasting through the accessories, she includes two movie-accurate Cybertronian blasters, which, to be fair, were the only weapons that we really see her use in the film. In addition to being forearm mounted to really give the impression that they are a part of her actual design, they can also be used as her main form of weaponry in vehicle mode. Landing into the articulation, despite visually looking to be incredibly close, this is the one area where I think that maybe she would have benefited from being a Voyager. So the head is on a ball joint. This can look up, down, tilt side to side, and rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forward, backwards, and slightly out to the side. The elbows are ball jointed so can spin, and can slightly bend. The legs can kick forward, backwards, and if you detach the armor, a decent amount out to the side. The thighs can spin, with the knees able to bend. Then finally, due to transformation, the shins can kick forward. So just by design, she is unfortunately slightly limited. But to really see the true bite of Arachnid, let's now put her through the pose test. Firing through some robot mode comparisons and going in order from tallest to smallest, first up is the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Leader Class Megatron, Voyager Class Sentinel Prime, which is arguably the most important comparison. Just as in the movie, these two were pretty inseparable. I guess another benefit of having her instead being released as a Voyager would have been that she maybe also could have included his double-sided sword. Deluxe Class Optimus Prime, Megatron, Starscream. Her main rival in the movie, Elita 1, B-127, then finally the '86 movie Bumblebee. Intercepting her memory banks and exposing her ability to transform, she has to be easily one of the most involved figures to be released for Transformers 1. So for the first step, split the forearm directly down the middle, doing the same for the second side. Fold the hands back, with the second side to match. You'll then take the forearms and snap them back into place. With that complete, spin around to the back, take this panel and hinge it all the way to the top. You'll then take this panel, spin it around and disconnect the rotor blade. This entire section will now spin around, with the blades able to extend. You'll then take these legs and firstly fold them up and then secondly fold them back. Once completed, spin around to the ball joint. You'll then take both sides and combine them directly down the middle, allowing these legs to rotate around. With the same now done for the second side, these can now snap into place and combine at the top. The shoulders can now be detached from the torso. You'll then take the entire backpack and firstly detach it and then secondly slide it up, as this will now connect into the back of her head. You'll then take the chest plate and pop this open, allowing the head to slide inside. The chest plate can now fold back up. As you'll now spin to the back, take the shoulders and compress them together. You can now take Arachnid and flip her upside down. The lower legs can now slide forward and attach into the shins. You'll then take the thighs and rotate them to the side, doing the same for the second side. At this point, we can now disconnect the knees with the second side to match. You'll then take this section and spin it around until the back now faces the front. You'll then flip the hips back and attach them into these tabs. You'll now take the thigh armor and slide it to the side, then flip it forward. At this point, we can flip to the underside, take the forearms and combine them directly down the middle to allow them to combine with the front half of the vehicle. Then finally, take the turbines and flip them to the front, and that is the transformation now fully complete. Cruising through Cybertron to assist Sentinel Prime, here is Arachnid now fully transformed into her drone mode. And as we whack up an image of how she appeared in the movie, yet again she is looking to be incredibly close. Front, side to back, in comparison to the design of the mainline version, which was more than likely based on concept art, she is a major improvement. It's incredibly impressive from a design standpoint how they were able to take arguably one of the more challenging designs and completely make it work at the deluxe price point. Even the undercarriage is incredibly clean, with the back legs actually becoming the landing gear for this mode. The back rotor blade is even able to fully spin, despite breaking apart into multiple pieces during the transformation. The only slight downside to this design, and it's not so much an issue with the figure itself, would be the colour. In this mode especially, she's unfortunately barely painted, and had they again taken some inspiration from her Transformers Prime design, then I think that visually she maybe could have looked slightly more interesting. Gliding through some vehicle mode comparisons, up first is the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Leader Class Megatron, Voyager Class Sentinel Prime, and in comparison, she is still incredibly substantial for a Deluxe Class. Deluxe Class Optimus Prime, Megatron, Starscream, Elita 1, B-127, then finally the 86 movie Bumblebee. So, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Arachnid. Overall, the figure is yet another incredibly solid entry into the Transformers 1 lineup of characters. Considering that the design to begin with visually appeared to be incredibly challenging, I think they did an amazing job in translating that into a Deluxe Class. The only slight downside to the design would be the articulation. Unfortunately, she is fairly limited, although even with an increase to a Voyager, I'm not entirely sure that they would be able to do much better. Even the drone mode visually looks exactly like it did in the movie, with the transformation being equally as impressive for the price point. But I would love to get your thoughts. Be sure to sound off below and let me know. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Transform and roll out!